think we should be up a little bit.
What do you mean?
Because it was like blocking me.
This can block me because of my pants. I don't want to block you, baby. I want to show all of this. Show it all.
Ready? Hey, what's happening, guys? We're back here. We wanted to do a little video on
discipline.
Yeah, we were chatting about it, and we wanted to let you guys know what we were just talking about when it comes down to discipline. Before we do that, why don't you help us out?
Yes.
Dive deep into the dictionary.
Let's see what it really means.
Let's get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so it says discipline, the practice of training people to obey rules.
Or a code of behavior. Really important. It's a code of behavior too.
True.
That's a really good piece of it. Because there is a behavior that is behind the whole deal, which is really what got us to the conversation that we were talking about.
Yes. All right, and the last one, well, it says code of behavior. You can use punishment to correct disobedience. That's a hardcore one.
Using punishment to correct disobedience. When it comes down to discipline, you know, there's a lot of reasons, like, you're gonna pay the price one way or the other.
Oh yeah, like we said, the universe is going to punish you if you don't have discipline.
Exactly. It will use punishment to correct your disobedience. We were actually talking about being disciplined with money and finances and how I got there and really how I even came about being able to build up. I mean, I've got a very interesting...
Oh, I know how we started talking about it.
How?
Because as you said, we come from different worlds.
Like, I was taught to work. Like,
from a very early age, which is the complete opposite. We were talking about family.
Yeah, we were talking about family, we were talking about the differences. Yeah. Differences and ideas too.
Yeah, so I come from a culture that's the kids are kids and they only do things for kids. You live with your parents, you go to school until you graduate college. Like, that's the culture that I came from, where my parents didn't see me working for my own money or moving out until I actually had a career, which meant I would have been like 20-something years old.
How old were you when you got your first job?
18.
18?
18, and my mom did not I wanted to get a job at 16 too, because kind of what you were saying, I wanted to buy the cool clothes and I wanted to, have my own money because I was tired of asking them for money, and my mom was like, no, you're not going to work, you're only going to go to school. And she did not let me get a job until 18, and she did not teach me how to drive until 18.
Oh, wow.
Actually, my ex-boyfriend taught me how to drive.
Oh, wow.
At 16. Yeah.
That's scary.
No, but my mom was super overprotective. So I come from a culture like that, where in your case, what was it like to grow up in a farm?
It was very deep. One, I'll save the story, but I'll tell you, just since you mentioned that about the driving, my dad let me drive on the streets with him in the car when I was 13.
Okay.
Anyways, what we were talking about was...
how we grew up differently.
We grew up totally different. Work ethic was built into me. It was taught to me. Something that was like really ingrained into what I do. Like, I remember I had two different sides. So like, my dad was like super, like, he was the money earner. Mm-hmm. He actually would go to work every single day. When he would come home at night, he would actually, he would go to work, he was an engineer, and then he would come home and he would work on our farm. So there would always be, if you ever been to a farm, there's always things to do. There's tractors.
His dad is always working.
There's oil changes, and then we had like the toys, right? So we had like dirt bikes and four-wheelers and things like that. And so like, you always had to like maintain them and like do all this, or like he'd be building a deck, or
this is like out in the country farm. Like, I think we're gonna put a picture on this video where like they can see
you should find
where you grew up. So they had the house, and across the street from that, I call it a highway. It looks like a highway to me, but it's not a highway. It's a
country road.
It's a country road.
Wide open, so pretty much anybody can do as fast as you. There's no speed limit on it.
And you cross that, and there's the, what do you call it? The barn.
Yeah, the barn's there.
With a bunch of tractors.
Well, there's actually 4 barns.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you have one in your house in the back. Is that a barn?
Multiple.
Yeah.
So there's always things, right? Plus we had like rental houses, so we were always fixing things. We were always putting in like a new toilet or like a kitchen sink. So like, I had my dad on that side.
Yeah.
This is what he was doing every day. Well, when I was in school, I would come home from school, and
what
this
grade?
is like This was even before school, so this was like
I barely started walking.
yeah, but no, I really was. And so like but my mom gave me the chores. So like at home I had chores for my mom. So like there were certain things we had to clean. We always had to do the dishes, go out the trash. We had to mow the lawn. 2.5 hours to mow the lawn, by the way. Okay. Dude, that's some time out of a kid's life. Are you kidding me? That was like an attorney sitting there driving on the. Are you kidding? Sitting there.
Well,
like,
how old were you, baby?
This all probably started at like 4 or 5, maybe even before then. But then by that time I'm getting into school, so like I have my chores.
We're 5 years old.
Yeah, maybe even before then I had my chores in place. But when I started to come home from school, my dad would get home from work, and then I would have to go with him to the barn or do the additional work. So at like this early age, here I am going to school, putting in the effort, and then but I would play a lot too. So like I would play, but I would like get it in. I'd go play basketball, or like and I'd get in a quick game, and then it was like, hey, you had to go to the barn with your dad. So like I'd come home from school, I'd get home at 3:30, and I'd have like an hour to like play basketball. And then we would eat dinner, and then my dad would be there, and then we'd be at the barn at 6. And so like I learned to like structure in that whole deal.
Yeah.
And I did this every single day, my whole childhood actually. So that was.
To me, that's so mind blowing because where I come from, it's like the kids only do kid things. Like what the hell are even kids things? You know. Yeah. You come home from school, you eat. Mine is so boring, and you play, and that's it. Like there's no like, oh, you have to work hard for this. There's no chores. See, back in Peru, when you have somebody that helps you like cook and clean, you don't have chores. The lady does everything for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, but there's also no allowance either. Like there's like
I
don't think there's that mentality back home where like if you do something as a kid, I'm gonna pay you. So at an early age, there's no exchange of money. There's no exchange of like, okay, hard work's gonna get you here. That was only like maybe at school, like if you're good at this and you get a star or something. But when you told me this story today, and he actually told me, he said middle school. I'm like, middle school? Like you were working? So tell me more about that.
So that built all the way up.
Since you were like little.
Yeah.
And then like you're moving into middle school.
So once I got into middle school, the biggest thing was this. It was like, I want to be popular, right? Everybody wants to be cool. Like it's a big thing. So you want the cool clothes. You want all the right stuff. So like my family we had money. Like it wasn't like my dad. Like we lived a pretty good life, but like they were not dishing out money. But when I wanted to go get school clothes, I wanted to go to the mall because obviously the mall had all the cool clothes. I remember there was a store called PacSun. It was like
I think it still exists.
Yeah, I think it still exists. And my mom would not allow us to go there. She's like, we don't buy clothes from the mall. We buy clothes from Kohl's. And I hated this. I mean, this was like, imagine.
So you were like 11, 12?
Yeah, 11, 12. I'm like, dude, mom, I'm a freaking gonna be a loser because I had to go here because I thought they had terrible clothes, which didn't really matter. But
so what did you do about it?
So anyways, she's like, dude, she's like, I'm not saying you can't buy those clothes. Buy the clothes, but you got to use it with your own money. And so here I am. I had to use all my allowance. Well, I've been making like probably 20 or 30 bucks a month for a while, and they taught us how to like save, and we had like piggy banks, and so I had a couple $100 and like.
Your parents taught you that?
Yeah. So like they taught me that from an early age. Most of it was not compensated. Most of it was like, it's just what you do here. But then we started getting allowances. It'd be like $10 a month or like $20 a month, and like we weren't really allowed to do anything with it. We had to save it. And actually that reminds me, they had me open up a bank account when I was still in elementary school. I had a bank account at the bank with their name on it because I remember every time I took money to them, they would give you a toy. It was like their little kid program.
Oh my god, that's amazing! I just remind me of the piggy banks. I had one too, but I can't. Like my parents didn't do something memorable for me to remember right now. Oh my god, I got $1.
Yeah.
Like it was like whatever I did was just like, oh, here's that. But it wasn't like memorable, like how I had to do this, that. Like nothing comes up to my mind where I'm like, what did I do to earn that money? It was just like, so it was easy to break that piggy bank so many times.
Because there wasn't any like respect behind it.
Exactly. And I'm just like blown away right now.
That's how I am today, where I'm like.
He is. Like he's not stingy, guys, but he knows what to do with his money, and he's not like, oh, here you go. Like, even though he has the money now. So, but like I'm having a realization where I'm like, I had so many piggy banks that I would just break, or I'll try to break into it and like get the coins out. Yeah, because there was there was no respect because it wasn't hard work. Like it was just given to me. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and then moving past that, so like then I would actually buy my own clothes, right? So that was the first thing. And I would too. I remember I busted out a little bit of money and I went and I bought 3 shirts from PacSun, and they were like, I remember I felt the coolest because I was like.
And you bought them yourself.
And I bought them myself.
And you're like
this
11, 12?
Yeah, this is at 12 years old.
Wow.
12 and 13. But then the next year was when it really started to get intense.
Yes.
Because this is when I'm moving into 8th grade, so I'm still in middle school. This was when like you hung out with your friends, like summertime, weekends, sleepovers, like you hung out with your friends. I lived 20 minutes away from my friends because I lived in the country, they lived in town, and so I couldn't get there. And so my mom is like, my dad's working all the time, he's doing his thing, and my mom's she's like, hey, I will take you there. So, or she's like, I'm not gonna take you there all the time. I'll take you there, but like, once or twice a month. And then she's like, if you want to go there, you can go, but you need to figure out a way to get there yourself. And so
that's so awesome.
So here I am.
Like they have you figured it out.
Yeah, totally. So like this was a thing that I hated while I was in it, but I respected it so much
now. Like
later on. Yeah. That was when I was in middle school. When you turn 14, you're allowed to get a job at McDonald's. So I'm in middle school. I'm the only kid in middle school except for one other kid who had a job, an actual job. So like I would go to school and then I would go to work right after that. And I would work at McDonald's. I would work all day on Saturday. It shifted. I would work all day on Saturday or all day on Sunday. So every weekend I was working at least one day.
Yeah.
And I would work 2 or 3 nights out of the week.
And you still work with your dad at the barn.
And I would still, and so then I would also be with my dad because that was part of the deal there. Like the laundry, dishes,
the lawn.
Like we had a 5-bedroom house, so like we had a big farmhouse. There's a lot to sweep, to clean. Like that was the kids' job. So like my parents were always working, but like we had to contribute. So it was very interesting. Like we had to do those.
Oh my god, I've been like half-assing my life, like just listening to half of what he's saying. I'm like, because my mom was super strict on the sense of like super protective because I was a female. I am a female, not was. But I was a little girl, so she was very overprotective on that. Like you can't go to your friends. Where are you going? Who are you with? Like it was more about that. And it was like like little things. Well, you gotta do your bed if you want to go. And I'm like, I would go run, do the bed like half-assed. I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then like my mom would just be like, okay, fine, go. But take your brother or something like that. Listening to this is just like. No, it's not. I wish it would have been harder on other things. You just have to earn it and do it right. Like
they were like, get it.
Yeah. I'm looking back and I'm just thinking I would half-ass it because I knew that I would get away with it.
Yeah.
Because I was already trained to that. Like I was given a lot of things, so it's like, come to my bed. And okay, bye. So McDonald's.
Yeah.
You started working there at 14.
Started working at 14.
Your mom would take you to work because you didn't drive.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden my mom has all this free time to take me there. Okay, this is very.
Town.
See, I hated it back then, but it was so smart of her. Then because now she's like, okay, I can take you to, I'll take you to work. And I was actually earning, so I actually saved up $2,000, which took me a little bit of time because I was really only making a couple $100 a month.
But that is huge for a 14, 15-year-old.
Yeah, and I was spending a little bit, so like I would still like this is
the
time. Like, I had I'd get a couple more shirts and PacSun. I got the jeans, I remember they had the buckle. I remember the first time I bought a $100 pair of jeans. My dad thought it was insane. He was
you bought a $100 pair of jeans at that age?
Yeah.
I still think it's insane.
Yeah. I mean, if I found a $100 pair of jeans today, I'd be lucky. But like back then, like
these
that
are what?
that
How
was.
much do you pay for these now?
These are at least $200. Every pair of jeans I have are at least $200. But it's like it's not, and I don't even spend a lot of money on clothes. It was more about like, hey, I wanted it. I wanted to look cool. I looked good. I bought a good shirt. But anyways, I saved up $2,000 because now it's like I want to be able to go in and hang out with my friends. But I still live 20 minutes away from town, basically.
And your mom would only take you to work.
My mom would only take me to work. So I had to buy a scooter. So I bought a little Honda. It was called a Honda.
We have to ask your mom for a picture of that.
Yeah, it was called a Honda Elite.
So I can put it on here.
And it went 40 miles per hour. And what we did was I finally got it. My parents took me to the store. I had $2,000. I bought it. And then I could actually drive back and forth, not just from work, but I could drive into school. So like if I wanted to go do things, I just had to work for it. And so I did all this by the time I was 14 years old.
That is insane.
So I've been driving a scooter for this whole
2 years.
time. I mean, I packed on so many miles on that scooter. It was unbelievable.
But you were free.
I was like, meh. In my high school, they called me Scooter Steve. Some of them still, they'll like reach out, like, oh, I get a birthday, thank you.
Yeah,
It's like,
Scooter
hey,
Steve.
Scooter Steve.
That's
like,
so funny.
yeah. What happened when I turned 16 was now it's time to get a car. So another really good lesson that I got from my parents was this. They said, well, yeah, I mean, it was a no-brainer. Like, it wasn't, I didn't actually think they were going to buy me a car. It was just that, you know, like, yeah, let's get you a car. But, you know, where's your money at?
Exactly.
What they did, though, was they allowed me to sell my scooter to them for $2,000. Yeah. And they gave me full money back on it. So they gave us, okay, well, here's your $2,000. I learned a little transaction there.
And your parents did help you.
Yeah, they helped me out. Like,
right.
they knew what they were doing the whole time. It was very frustrating because I seen other people buying their kids' cars. But here's the thing, I did buy a pretty nice car. So I bought a nice Mustang at that time.
16.
At 16. So I had like this nice car where like the only other people that had nice cars, their parents bought them for them. I was probably the only kid that bought his own car anyways. I learned a lot of lessons up until that point.
There's a lot of kids at your age or even older that will just, what you just said, it was frustrating because other parents just bought their kids a car.
Yeah.
You turn that into like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna move on and still get what I want, instead of just bitch and whine about it.
Totally.
Because I know a lot of kids that would just be like, oh, but their parents help them and their parents buy them cars. And I was like, you know, for me, like, same thing, I didn't have a dad. I could have said, well, I don't have a dad and that's why I don't have this, and that. But you know, oh well, that's just life.
Yeah.
And you have to just move on.
But I was frustrated. I hated it in the time. That's where like the discipline, back to the discipline thing. I feel like discipline, like you got to pay the price sometime. Like you either got to pay it up front to receive it on the back, or hey, you get it, you're gonna end up paying it later on. So like,
for sure,
I'm actually reaping the rewards of being disciplined back then. Like I can still remember times where it was hot, it was a summer day, I didn't have any school, and I'd be out driving the tractor because my dad would be making me disc the fields.
What does that mean, disc?
Well, you got to chop up the dirt so you can plant. And so you basically got to just drive a disc around, like a disc, it chops up the dirt. Okay. And you just drive around the field all day long. And so here I am driving this thing around, hot, wasting a day. This is what I thought, wasting a day of my summer. And I was watching other kids drive their four-wheelers around, so I could see them down the street. There was like my friends.
Oh my God.
And so I thought that was ridiculous, but I learned so much, so many valuable lessons.
Like all of that you're saying is like what I see today, because you guys, the discipline that he has, it makes me feel like, oh my gosh, what am I not doing? But then he tells me about his childhood, and it's not to be like, oh, relax, but it's like, wow. It takes years sometimes to build that discipline, and it's never too late.
No, it's not. I would start today. Like,
exactly.
You're not like, if you're watching this video and you're like, dude, my discipline is terrible. And that's why I'm always in trouble. Like, I'm never in trouble.
No, he's not.
You know, like I'm usually doing better than most of the people around me because I've got additional skills that were engraved into me that aren't engraved into most people, you know? So
yeah, and you know, a lot of people don't have that ingrained, and I'll tell you, I'm for sure one of them, but it does help me being around you and seeing like the discipline that he has, like from never skipping the gym to always writing his goals down to always looking at his stats. How does he produce more, become a better partner, person, you know, at your job. It takes discipline. Literally never skip a day of it. So.
That's right. If not, discipline will punish you. A couple good definitions there, so lots to learn. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I could carry this over into a lot of other stories.
He had so many, but
just more like the fundamentals of it.
Yeah.
It kind of started at an early age, so.
It did. For sure did.
You know, and a lot of times too, like when you see people and you're like, man, why am I not doing what they're doing? Or like, you know, think about
what they did before.
Yeah, think about what happened to them before. Like, this is what I'm always looking at. I'm like, okay, well, if he's there now, or if she's there now, what did she or he do before that to get there? Something had to happen to get there.
Yeah, and take a close look, because there's a lot of people that can come up on your feed, on your social media, that made it happen from day to night. And you guys, if they don't have the discipline and you don't see their history behind their company, their business, their brand, then that's only going to last a little bit. Sarah Blakely, I loved her story. She had a discipline of like not giving up, knocking on doors, making the calls.
Yeah.
She's now a billionaire.
Yeah.
But the you guys, like, everybody needs to see what came before so you can see the legit person. I guess
Yeah,
that's what
like
I'm trying to
you
say.
miss a lot of the things that happened before. So if you guys are feeling like you're stuck, if you feel like, you know, you're having trouble.
You're failing yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like that because you want to do more and then you feel like a failure sometimes. But then it's like, this is one of the fundamentals of becoming a successful person and proving yourself that you can stick to something and take it all the way to the top. I think that discipline is a very, very...
It's one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Ask anybody who's successful. I mean, it's all over. I mean, you see anybody successful talking about it. They're like, you know, stay disciplined.
Yeah.
You know, do the right things.
And they repeat things. Like,
yeah, and continue to repeat successful
and that's
actions.
what builds the discipline.
So, if you're not there, start today. Today's the day to do that. Or, like, reassess where you're at in your disciplines. Like, there's things that I have today. Like, I'm not doing this video because I'm a master in discipline. I just found some areas where I was like, hey man, I'm really successful in these areas because of the discipline, which actually really inspires me to be like, dang, where could I, you know, maybe tighten up or be a little bit better?
Yeah.
Or just not necessarily tighten up, but maybe be more aware of what's happening in that area, so that way I can continue to progress, which is start doing things every day. Like, just look at your habits. Like, whatever you do every single day is what's going to end up. How much are you furthering your education on financial literacy?
Are you learning something new every day?
Are you learning new? Are you watching what's going on?
Are you watching negative things every day, or listening to positive things every day?
Exactly. You listen to positive things every day. I bet you'll be somebody that has a good attitude.
Yes, that's important. You want to have a good attitude. You want to be around good people, positive people.
Definitely, you want to change it. You want to be in a good environment. But what I would say is, hey, start with you. So, like, you know, maybe you're part of, maybe you contribute to that environment that's negative, and maybe if you were more of a positive person,
you could help other people.
You could help other people become more positive.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe they'll start thinking, dang, I'm negative, when you're a lot more positive. So, discipline starts with you. Make sure you guys are working at it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video.
Yes, let us know on the comments down below because we're gonna upload this today. We have plenty of time.
Might even do
with
another
the
video.
hurricane. I know, round 2.
I guess.
Thank you for watching, and let us know what you want us to talk about next. If you want to hear more about the story, because there's definitely more of that story.
Yeah.
More of your jobs and all of that cool stuff. So, I think that's it.
That's it. Bye. How does it look? Do I look good on camera? Hey guys, welcome. Today on Channel 4 News, where we currently have a Hurricane Dorian moving in eastbound.
Look at Mocha.
Mocha's like, yeah, I'm chilling.